Now we will move to the Q&A session, but just before that, I'd like to remind... Sorry, I was asked to move to the mic up there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. As I was saying earlier, we will proceed with the Q&A session. So since PM is delayed, we will have more time to have the Q&A session, which I'm sure many of you will be looking forward to, since education is such a contentious issue. But just before that, just a bit of floor rules. Just a reminder to keep the topic in view. Our topic is National Education Blueprint. Since education is such a wide topic, we'll focus on addressing racial polarization and sustainable economic development. And second one, I'd just like to remind everyone, just one question and keep it short and sweet. Phrase of the day is short and sweet. Keep that in mind, please. Okay. That's the first question? Oh yeah, just before that, also introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and what you're majoring in, please. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. My name is Anand Kumar. I'm from College Yayasan UEM. Currently doing my A-levels. Okay, Dr. Sri. We are vying to produce students who are knowledgeable, not only from what they learn out of the textbooks, but rather by self-interest and development. But this will definitely require a shift in the teaching methods. I'm sure everyone will agree with me. So my question is, has there been any changes in the teachers' training policies and methods? Because at the end of the day, the teachers are the ones who imply on the teaching methods, which will be passed down to the students in order for them to learn the right way to gain knowledge, not only out from the textbooks, but by self-interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we take a few and then
Okay, can we have the next person, Waikin?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Waikin. I'm from Cornell University, studying Operation Research and Engineering. Well, my question is, we hear about reforms on Malaysia's education every day on newspapers, news and everything, but education has a very long gestation period and it takes time for the results to eventually materialize. And with all the reforms, we're not even sure if the reforms will actually produce results, and yet at the same time we are implementing all sorts of reforms. Think of it this way: as a parent, when you send a kid to school, what do you look for? You look for a student's development, and you look for teachers, quality of teachers, as well as the education system in general. So as a parent, would you send your kid to Malaysia if you see so many reforms going on in the education system, and in which people perceive as Malaysia's education system as not being stable? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Waikin. Chensha?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chensha, a Cornell alumni. Dr. Sri, my question is regarding the cluster school, which is part of your National Education Blueprint. How is the success of it since it has been launched for a few months or maybe about 1 year? And how do you see it in the next 1 year, especially in the context of today's topic? Thank you.
Did you say national schools or cluster schools?
Cluster school.
Thank you very much. Thank you again for keeping the questions short and sweet. That's very good. Can we have the next gentleman on the right here?
Dr. Sri, I would like to bring up a contentious issue regarding the teaching of math, science and English. Saya berpendapat bahawasanya kita perlu abolish ataupun kita perlu hentikan polisi ini kerana saya sendiri telah masuk kampung, beberapa buah kampung, dan saya sendiri mengajar mereka dalam beberapa subjek yang sebegini untuk dalam UPSR, UPMR dan SPM. Dan ternyata anak-anak Melayu kita di kampung-kampung tidak mampu meneruskan pelajaran subjek English dan Maths dan Sains adalah English. Yang saya harap, jikalau kementerian ingin memperkasakan dalam bidang ini, kita perkasakan guru-guru English kita, bukannya memperkasakan English dalam Maths dan Sains. Itu pandangan saya selaku mahasiswa. Terima kasih.
Siapa nama?
Faisal.
Faisal.
you very much, Faisal. Shall we proceed with the four questions?
Maybe one more.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Sri. My name is Samuel Leong. I'm a final year law student from the University of Malaya. I don't, actually, thanks for asking. Just one quick question. I'm told to keep it to the topic. So, in the line of sustainable economic development, we know the world rewards based on merit. However, every year, more and more we hear allegations of the manipulation of exam standards. Results like 21As in SPM, it's just baffling how easy it is to score nowadays. So my question is, have exams become too easy? And of course, there's also the other allegation of every time an election comes around, suddenly there's a bumper crop of top scorers in the country. So, yeah. So, have exams become too easy? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Dr. Sri Kushamuddin will answer the 5 questions.
It's great. Give me one more question. Just let me explain to you the blueprint. When I first joined the ministry, in fact, the ministry officers themselves were very concerned with this new minister coming in, would bring with him reforms and new policies, just as what Waikid said just now. But again, in the landscape of perception, this is far from the truth. I made a very conscious effort not to make any changes. The PIPP, Plan Induk Pembangunan Pendidikan 2006-2010, which is our blueprint for the next 5 years based on the 9th Malaysia Plan, clearly states that we use this period to look at how we are going to make reforms by the year 2010. Two approaches. One is to level the playing field, finish the unfinished business, give access and equity to all, especially in the rural areas. And the second is to ensure that our educational institutions that are already ready, that are already internationally benchmarked, will be able to not have to wait for the field to be leveled before we push them further up to a higher level benchmark against the best in the world. And that is what the cluster schools are all about. So I resisted for making reforms, and I resisted long enough. And we are going to initiate those reforms by 2010. And this has a clear and direct relation to what Anand said regarding our students being too academically minded. The way the teachers teach needs to be relooked at, and the form in which these reforms are going to be conducted. And I hope that will be in 2010. And in my speech earlier, I mentioned some of the areas which we are studying, because as you know, as stated just now, the gestation period for those who are going to be affected by these reforms is quite a long period of time. And anything that we decide today, we will not see the results until the minister is long gone from the ministry. And the last thing I want to do is to be accused of coming up with more reforms without proper testing and with